Hello and welcome to episode 5. How did we get to episode 5 already? My goodness me, It's been an exciting ride.
It has, and we've also, it's great. I know we asked for people to try and get apples up to us here in...
They've done very well.
They have,
actually.
lots of apples thrown up to us here in near Earth orbit, where we are socially distancing, as indeed we should be. But there are two things. One, the apples... You know, we are being illuminated here by the lights of the spaceship, which is great, but the lights are getting covered in squashed apple, and if we're getting dimmer, that's why.
It's just a bit of a mess, really.
It is a bit of a mess. And also, there's the fact that we've discovered that you can get Amazon deliveries here, and we're getting, Christmas pudding and cans of cider sent up. So it's fine, thank you. It's brilliant, lovely, all of you.
Although drinking Christmas pudding is not as satisfying.
No.
Anyway, let's play some music. So, I was hoping at this time to actually tell you about some courses we were looking at running. We actually had some really interesting ideas to run some improvisation courses and the like.
That's true.
But of course, we're not allowed to get any closer. We're not allowed to meet you. We're not allowed to really do anything like that at the moment.
No.
So I thought it would be quite interesting to see if you could come up with any suggestions for activities, courses, events, whatever it is that we, as the Cider House Rebellion, could run for you from space. So any suggestions, please, if you could send them over, that would be most welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Murray. That's an excellent plan. And now we're going to go and talk to our special guest for this week, Kirsty Merryn, who I noticed had a gramophone album of the month, I think it was, for whatever it was she released this year.
Oh.
Which I can't remember the name of, but probably she does.
Let's ask her. Okay, so welcome to the show. Kirsty Merryn, how are you doing?
Hello, hi. I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Brilliant, not too bad at all. Adam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Nice to see you, Kirsty.
And you.
Yeah, good. That's a very tiggery-looking arm, I noticed there.
Well, it's a sort of combination of different animal prints, this jumper. So there's a tiggery arm and then there's... I don't know what this one is supposed to be, honestly.
Some sort of speckled wallaby
owl,
or something.
Maybe a bit of camel going on, yeah. It's a
hybrid
mishmash.
owl camel. What's one of those?
Yeah, who knows?
And we're sure that no animals have suffered in the making of this, aren't we?
No,
it's not actually the real...
Well, I hope not, because
thing.
that deletes all my vegetarian credentials,
Yeah, that
sadly.
would be... Yeah,
that would be wrong, wouldn't it? I think we should move on quickly in case it does turn out to be a genuine article.
Yes.
So, Kirsty...
For how much it cost, I would doubt it.
Really? So, you had a album of the month in The Guardian. Nice thing this year.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I did. It was really lovely, actually.
I'm embarrassed to say I've forgotten the name of the album. I can only think of Ring of Bright Water, which I know is not completely correct.
No, but I do really like that. I might have to steal that. Or do you think that is an album already?
Well, it's a book, really.
Oh, is it actually?
Oh, it's a book.
It's by Gavin Maxwell, and it actually bringing us back to the whole "I hope the jumper isn't dead animals" thing. It's by a guy called he. In that book, it was all about looking after otters, and that was very lovely.
Oh,
but he was
nice.
he was also very interested in shooting and fishing and things. So I think we should. I don't think it's going to be the name for your next album at all. I'm sorry I brought it up actually.
No, but it's a great name.
Yeah.
Anyway, back.
What is it called? Come on, we're all waiting.
Yeah, so the album is called Our Bright Night. And it was a really lovely thing. So it was totally home recorded. It was my first attempt at sort of any production.
Wow.
Myself and my boyfriend, we did it all in our little cupboard room, which we sort of soundproofed and turned into a little bit of a studio. Mm-hmm. Over about 9 months we recorded everything, and so it was a real labour of love, and it's obviously
it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you don't do it for the reviews, but when you get the reviews, it's pretty
nice to have them, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very, very charming when they come. It's amazing, though, actually, because I guess it's the title track. It starts with this gorgeous piano thing. It's half Debussy, half Schubert, with a little bit of kind of pop hiding in the background.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminded me? It reminded me of, I don't know if you know EST, the Esbjørn Svensson trio. Jazz.
I do, actually.
Really, really reminded me of some of the tracks of his, and I absolutely adore what they did. That beautiful opening and just let it wash over you.
What fascinates me about it is the fact that it's folk album of the month. And with an opening like that, it's a. I don't know where you put your music. I guess it's folk, at least in some way in your mind. But it's also amazing that the Guardian are saying that's a folk album. That isn't. It's not trad folk, is it? As it starts.
Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting one, really. So my previous album was my debut, and I felt like by the end of the process, the piano had really been cut out of it altogether.
Really?
And just through how we ended up building the sounds up for things. And, when I perform live, it is me and the piano.
Yeah.
And I think in the folk world, there's a bit of suspicion of the piano as an instrument. It's not kind of viewed as authentic in some way. No. So I sort of just wanted to... am I allowed to swear on your podcast?
It's preferable, actually.
Okay, great.
I have a chicken sound effect that can overdub if needed.
Okay,
so
perfect.
And there's one word my mother wouldn't accept, but other than that,
sure. So part of what I wanted, I really wanted the piano to be front and centre, and I feel like there was a couple of years when I was playing when I was trying to pander a little bit too much to those people, and actually now I just think, well, fuck you, like, absolutely. This is the music I want to make, and I do think it is folky.
But it's really interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, actually, because in my family, going back to, I don't know, my great aunt and her parents and whatever, so we're going back 1980s and before, everybody had a piano.
Yeah.
And they had, and I mean, even, everybody, there was no kind of wealthy family trying to marry off their daughters. This is just some fishermen's people who just happened to have a piano or had managed to get a piano. I'm sure it was hideously out of tune and probably Murray wouldn't have accepted it on an album. But they're not.
Absolutely. And things like music hall, I mean, every pub had a piano. Like,
the sing-along around the piano is iconic, isn't it? Absolutely.
I was going to say the most likely way that people were, well, in my family anyway, were singing stuff, they used to have sing-arounds with the piano. They didn't have guitars, they had a piano. So how it got banned from folk music, I don't know.
And it doesn't make any sense to me. And if you're not musical and you're trying to pick out a tune, a piano, anyone can pick out a tune on a piano, much more so than any other instrument, I would say.
Well, definitely not better than the violin, that's for sure.
For sure,
Adam still hasn't managed it. But
no, I haven't. There have been a couple of things that people thought were tunes, but they weren't what I was trying to play.
I saw a really funny video the other day of the man playing Flight of the Bumblebee. And he was like the fastest rendition of the Flight of the Bumblebee, but it was slowed down and he just did not get a single note right. It was so funny.
Spike, my daughter's boyfriend, keeps wanting me to do a video of that. And it'd be quite funny, but I want to do it I want to have like little hand puppets on my fingers to do it.
I would love that. You should definitely do that.
I might. If I could get just like a finger hand puppet for each finger, film it from that way and do it really, really fast with gloves on.
I have the finger puppets, so, we can sort this.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Okay, that could be for the next...
that could be for the Christmas
series.
Show, who knows? Yeah, let's wait and
I
see.
don't think so. There's enough to do before Christmas.
Okay, so we've discussed where you fit in the folk scene. So what we've been exploring with people is the whole concept of this life we live, this performing thing and so on. So obviously you're now locked up like the rest of us. How's the year
She's
been
in Jersey.
for you?
She went to the
I know.
That's not properly locked up.
No, it's really nice over here, you guys. You should visit it.
I'm happy for you.
Anyway, for most of the year.
So how's the year been for you? I mean, all the fun that we've all had and not being able to go out gigging and so on. How's the year been and what have you been up to?
Yeah, so most of the year I was in London. I wasn't in Jersey. So I was in proper lockdown for a lot of time. I mean, it's put a lot of things on hold. I was meant to be touring the album, of course, so that had to be shelved. And you know how it goes with records. Like, I don't know now if I'm going to be able to tour that album really, because it's kind of old news for everybody, right? Yes,
I think we're all going to get hit with that one. That you bring out an album.
We're actually about to re-record not re-record. That's not what I mean at all. Record a new album with our band The Ha.
Right.
And by the time we get on the road, we might be touring that one.
Yeah.
And we only released the other in some early bit of this year, which I can't remember, Mo.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's frustrating, isn't it?
And then, of course, we've got the festival time lag as well. So if you've got this new product and
you're trying to get the festival list. Well, okay, maybe you missed 2020, but 2021, we'll get some good festivals out of that. But of course, 2021 is now going to be the 2020 festivals.
Exactly. Yeah, So you're looking at a 2-year lag.
2-year time lag going on here.
Yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
really quite bizarre.
Yeah.
Which is great, though, because it means that by the time you're on stage, you've got 2 whole albums of just going through everybody's favourites.
Yeah. And I do think something that's been so nice about it is how, I think in so many ways the folk world is very supportive of its artists. And I think there's been people who've really stepped up to try and support musicians.
Yes.
And people are still buying... there's Bandcamp Friday. People are always downloading stuff from me on Fridays without me having to do any sort of promotion, really, just because I think people really want to support independent music.
Yeah.
So that has been such a nice thing.
Wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I did this year was I arranged a little online folk festival in April, and that was really nice. Just because, there were a lot of festivals that went online.
Yeah.
But part of what I saw, this is maybe cynical, but part of what I saw from that was just the big names getting
I'd agree.
gigs.
Yeah.
And which is great, and of course they also need gigs. But so part of what I wanted to do, people love
their music, so that's also
absolutely
great. But it takes out the kind of second stage, third stage, where people would be getting something new.
There aren't those other spaces. So it was intended as, I guess my festival really was intended as like the second stage deal, except we got Steve Knightley played, and Greg Russell and Kieran Algar both played it as well. So and that was really nice. We had a really, really great response to that, and it was just a nice, I think, because the tour was cancelled, and like obviously I do all my own booking and stuff, and so suddenly I had all of this like admin time I didn't know what to do with. So having a festival to organise kind of was quite nice. It like gave me that.
The main danger of admin time is when you start setting up a bunch of things that seem like really good ideas, and then you get back on the road and discover you can't actually keep any of them going.
Yeah. Suddenly you've got too much to do.
Yeah. So, Kirsty, in the days when we were all on the road, this is one of the questions that we like to ask people. What do you find hardest about performing?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I'm not sure. I mean, I think when I first started, I used to get terrible stage fright, and I just don't feel like I get that really at all anymore, which I'm very grateful for. I really love being on stage. I also don't mind the travel. Like I quite like a long drive and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think one of the hardest things, weirdly, is the food.
It can
That's
be,
not
yes,
weird.
I'd agree.
No, totally.
You just end up eating sandwiches at like 12 p.m. because you haven't eaten since, lunchtime or something. And it's just really... And, you get riders sometimes that are just like lovely and well-intentioned, but if I'm going on stage at 8, I can't eat a curry at 7:30. I know you've made it yourself, and I'm so grateful for it. But
I get that. I remember being in Boston on one occasion at 4 a.m. Somehow the whole tour had gone wrong. There'd been no food. The only visible food was McDonald's, which I wasn't prepared to enter, and a service station kiosk that had sandwiches. And the ingredients list was bigger than the sandwich. So I bought a chocolate bar. That was my meal.
Wow.
I'm surprised,
Not prepared to fill myself
it wasn't
with shit.
It wasn't going to be a bottle of cider. That's what I was expecting then.
I was in America.
Oh, that's true, yes.
The whole cider thing is a bit confusing over there.
Yes.
Yeah, cider's like apple juice in America, isn't
Yeah, it
it?
is.
It's very strange.
Unless you realise you have to buy hard cider, but still, they don't sell it in petrol stations.
No.
They do here.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Just one of many reasons why it's good to live in the UK.
You were saying, Kirsty, you don't have the stage fright thing. The only
Not
gig
anymore, no.
No, the only gig I've done with you was that thing in the Globe with Steve, where on the day it was changing what we were going to do, and you just launched into it with total joy and elan and no idea what might be about to happen, and it was brilliant.
Well, I think at this point I'm just used to working with Steve, and I know what he's like now, and how kind of you just have to be prepared. I think because he's such a creative brain, Steve, and he's always just thinking about how you can improve things. And so, I just thought, we'll just go with it and it will be fine.
So when's your Irish accent? When's your Irish accent album coming out?
I just can't.
That was a funny moment.
Yeah, Steve was really keen. We did an Irish folk song, and Steve really wanted me to do an Irish accent, and
Oh. No.
Yeah,
Steve,
I just don't think that's okay.
No.
Although I have just got my Irish citizenship through, so that's good.
Well, good for you. My dad's got his, or at least, has he? He was applying for it. I haven't.
Oh. I'm waiting for Scottish citizenship, but that I am entitled to, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
who knows?
I'm not,
we'll
by
see.
one generation, which is a shame, but never mind.
Hey-ho.
So...
Now, I heard that there was something, was it something quite inflammatory that happened at that gig?
Inflammatory?
It didn't happen. We were warned about it.
The potential.
Yeah, the potential. Kirsty was specifically banned from using hairspray.
Yeah, which is interesting. They targeted me, not Steve, quite frankly,
absolutely,
with his flowing locks.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, well, so we did this amazing gig together in what was it called, that venue?
The Globe. It was the baby bit of the Globe. It's called...
there's like a room. I can't remember what it's called.
No, I can't either. It's beautiful. It's a
this gorgeous kind of wood panelled. Gorgeous room, and it's all totally lit by candlelight. And so one of the lovely things is that in the interval, at the beginning and the end and in the interval, they lower the chandeliers to put the candles in and remove the old ones, and then lift them back up again. And so you can't, you have to be very careful, obviously, of the candles, and you can't wear hairspray or perfume or anything like that, just in case
it was perfume
you
as well.
go up. Yeah, perfume.
But also, there were candles on the, I can't think what you called it, the pillars. There were sconces with candles on the pillars, which we had to be careful of.
And you got
they were
quite close with
particularly
your
worried
bow.
about me, weren't they?
Well, because you were quite close to them with your bow, weren't you?
Yeah.
That would have been so dramatic.
Yeah, it would have been.
Flaming
fiddles.
I can see a video, though, here. For the next album, we could do this. So we have to go to a location like that with candles, then hair can go on fire, Adam's violin can explode. I mean, the creative juices are flowing here.
Do you think you could somehow treat the horsehair on your fiddle, on your bow, so that it would be on fire, but it wouldn't disintegrate?
Ooh.
Because that would be really cool.
That would be.
It's quite a nice old bow, though.
Yeah, maybe you'd have to get.
That would be a shame. I'd have to get a stunt bow.
I had a friend. I'm desperately trying to remember what the band was, but I know that the accordionist in the band, for one number, they kind of had a fake accordion that he would play above his head, and that it would then explode through the bellow. And it was quite
a great accordion.
It was quite a punky sort of band, I think. But that was.
There's a guy in London Bridge who plays a tuba as well, and flames come out of the inside of the tuba.
I've seen him. Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of. If Murray's accordion exploded, it would become solo fiddle, which would be great.
Yes.
You might have to take it in turns each night. One night the fiddle goes, one night the accordion goes.
It's going to get very expensive running this tour.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But it will be worth it.
Could be. Good.
Now, how do we blow up pianos? That's the next question.
Really easily, I would think.
How do you actually find the whole transporting, touring, all the rest of it with keyboards? It must be a little challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, really. At the beginning, I couldn't drive, so I was literally taking my stupid keyboard on public transport, and I'm, because I'm not a keyboard player, I'm a pianist, really. So I've got full 88 keys. I don't
fully weighted, everything.
Fully weighted, all of that stuff. So it's a heavy beast. But so I was very. I passed my driving test as soon as I could, really. So now it's fine, really. I mean, I've got a tiny car, but somehow managed to get everything in, like 3 guitars and speakers and piano. It somehow fits, so it's okay. God. It's just very slow.
Could have just put some kind of wheels on a motorised keyboard thing. That might have been
sure.
easier.
Yeah, that sounds easier. Yeah.
We could add that. We could add that to the pyrotechnic gig. You could just sort of drive on stage while playing.
Motorised keyboard shooting across the stage, fully alight.
This gig's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Talking of gigs, then, can you actually remember your very first performance? Shall we say, rather than the first time you played to Grandma, I'm meaning your first proper concert spot. Can you actually remember it?
Oh my gosh, yes. When I was in uni, I was in a jazz band, and I have a friend who is an incredible jazz musician. Mm-hmm. I genuinely think he's a genius. He's entirely self-taught on about 10 different instruments, and is an incredible pianist and saxophonist. And we were at uni together. So I joined he had a jazz trio and I joined as their singer. Okay. So we did a bunch of stuff together, but we did a lot of, wedding, like...
Functioning
that kind
stuff,
of thing.
yeah.
Functions, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my first gig really was with them at a parish hall in Surrey. And it was mainly, all of their family friends and that kind of thing. But it was... it was about 150 people, and it was really, really fun. So just singing, I didn't play instruments.
Okay. Yeah.
How does the kind of ambience, if you like, of the place you're playing affect what you do? I mean, a parish hall can be a great place. I've done some that feel amazing and some that are absolutely hideous. Is that part of things for you? Difference between that and some epic place where the acoustic is amazing and...
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the audience more... Oh, it sounds so pretentious, doesn't it? But I think it's the people rather than the place,
except that's what music is, of course.
Yeah,
somehow,
exactly.
Or maybe it isn't, but for me it's about people.
So you can have a gig in the tiniest little pub to play to 30 people, and it can be absolutely brilliant. Or you can play, to a big room of people who are unresponsive and
absolutely. Yes, that can make such a difference.
Absolutely, yeah. But so I did the kind of flip side to that, I guess, is that I supported Show of Hands on their tour in 2017 when they did a cathedrals tour around the UK. Okay. And so every venue was unbelievable, and the acoustics were incredible, and every night it was just a dream to be on stage every night in those spaces. And of course, the Show of Hands tech crew is unbelievable as well. So the sound was always so great. Yeah. So, that
none
was
of those issues
so
to worry
special.
about.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even have to. The best thing was I didn't have to take my gear. I handed my stuff over to the crew at the beginning of the tour, and then collected it at the end. And every night I'd go on stage and it'd be set up for me. They'd take it down again. I was very spoiled.
I had a tour like that, which was amazing once it got going. But on my first, I was going across to Amsterdam. I had a big, massive flight case. I was playing fiddle and electric fiddle, and the flight case was very wide, and I had that. Electric violin in a case and my suitcase and something else on a trolley going into Amsterdam airport. And as I was going through from baggage check into the last bit, when you're out and it's all fine and you're free, I got the trolley, what I thought was central, going out through the doors. The case that had the electric pedals and everything in got wedged. It broke the glass on the door, got stuck inside, so I couldn't go forwards or backwards. And it's one of those things that you're not allowed to go back, because as soon as you try and go back, you're deeply illegal. So I'm trying to get this thing unwedged, and the little, the flight cases have got a metal thing on the corner. And that had got stuck inside the metal thing that used to be holding glass, but now wasn't. And I couldn't go one way or the other. And somebody very kindly rushed back through the doors to try and rescue me. All the alarms went off, staff everywhere.
Oh, no.
So, after that, it was all quite smooth once I finally arrived and they all took control
You mean
of it. People who knew what they were doing.
Yes, when other people took charge, you mean?
Yeah, then it became excellent. But my God.
Oh my God, that sounds so stressful.
I was just hysterically funny. I was wetting myself.
Oh, that's good. I think I would have cried, probably.
Well, that of course, makes me think of perhaps my favourite question that we've been asking people. Can you remember the worst moment in your performing career? Now, I don't necessarily mean, tears and absolute disaster level. I mean that story that you would wish you could forget, but actually it's kind of amusing at the same time.
Absolutely, I can. It's burnt into my memory.
Brilliant.
So I did a house gig a couple of years ago, and So my first album was like a collection of songs which were stories about women from history. So each song was a different story about women. And so I was, at the beginning, I was introducing the kind of music I do. And, I said, there's a bit of a feminist element to this, so apologies if that's not for you. And a man in the front row kind of rolled his eyes heavily at me, and I said, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir. You're not going to enjoy yourself at all." And for the rest of the gig, he sat with his arms folded, glaring at me for an hour and a half. He didn't move. He didn't applaud. And then I don't know why he didn't just leave, but he had presumably his wife with him, who kept glancing at him and sort of starting to clap and then not clapping. And I thought, oh, lady, you need to get out of whatever that is. That's terrible. Yeah. But it was awful. It was really horrible because when there's one person who isn't clapping and is doing that, there's no way to ignore it. You can't kind of pay attention to anybody else in the room. All I could see was this livid man. It was horrible.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes, that doesn't sound great.
No. But there you go. Apparently feminism is still a dirty word to some people.
Yeah, it does make me think this whole concept that the audience is intrinsically linked to the success of a performance. It makes me think we've all of us gone through some form of training, whether it be official training or experience from doing lots of gigs or whatever it may be. It makes me wonder whether we should set up an audience training course.
Oh, please, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? And the first thing they'd have to do is put their phones in a box, and we'd lock that box away.
And also, it would mean that in the coming years, as lockdowns stretch ahead of us, if we have trained them, they'll be part of our company.
That's
so
true.
We can all work together.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, that wasn't my idea. It was Murray. No. Something came from something Murray said a while ago, but. So I can't take credit, at least not publicly.
I mean, I do think in general, a folk audience, we're very lucky. I do think a folk audience is a listening audience in general, and that is lovely. And something that's been really nice, my songwriting is really very story-based, as is obviously a lot of folk music. And, one of the nice things is people coming up and talking to you and asking about the stories. Like, people are very engaged in the lyrics, and so I do think, we're quite lucky in that regard in many ways.
Definitely. It's interesting, Murray talked about training and listening to your piano playing and singing as well. It seems to me that your training might be more than self-taught.
Oh, yeah. So I had had piano lessons for a long time, and I had classical singing lessons. I was sort of trained in operatic singing a long time ago. I
had singing lessons once, but they weren't a triumph.
Oh no, really?
Not really.
Oh no. Yeah.
So, what's been your favourite ever performance? What's the either venue or something? What's been the favourite gig?
Oh gosh, let's think. I mean, like I said, the whole Show of Hands tour was an absolute dream, and I just loved all of that.
Yeah, sounds great.
I think getting to open the main stage at Sidmouth for Richard Thompson was really amazing. That was a really, really special moment.
Mine was funny. It was nothing to do with any gig or all the things I would normally think matter to me in music.
Yeah.
I had a bizarre experience where I ended up being a violinist on set for Guy Ritchie, doing the Sherlock Holmes, the second movie, can't remember what it's called, Game of Shadows. And I wasn't meant to be doing anything particular, but then suddenly everything twisted, and the next thing I knew, I was dressed up in the same clothes as Robert Downey Jr., and I was asked to write a track for him and train him to play it. It never got into the movie in the end. Yeah, no, it was fantastic. It was great fun. It never made it into the movie in the end, so I don't know.
Well,
Although,
Adam,
apparently,
that's way cooler than anything I could possibly say.
No. But the thing that was amazing was I was then supposed to play that live on set, and they had somehow, I don't know what they were recording it on or how it was coming back, but it was just, I recorded it, they recorded it live. The sound was absolutely astonishing. You could somehow hear it back immediately. Wow. And the whole thing went silent. And it was, because the set was so amazing, it was suddenly like being in the middle of your own feature film, being you, and it was very exciting.
That's
but as
so
I say, they
cool.
didn't use it for the last few weeks before it went out. I kept getting messages saying, it's in, it's not in, it's in, it's not in, it's in, it's not in, and the premiere is tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you know, the directors and editors do have to chop out all the rubbish when they do these things.
All the rubbish, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of a big event. So a good question, my favourite question. And this one will get you. This one will get you. You're ready. So, money is no object, and even better, reality is no object. So if brilliant. You can have anything, no matter what would be your favourite? Could be gig, could be project, whatever. You can decide that. But anything is possible. What would you do?
Oh, wowzers. That's a big question. I mean, something that I have been thinking about trying to do for a long time is trying to do a kind of tour of the British Isles to go and do some co-writing and recording with, people who speak different languages, some of the kind of dying languages.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
And I would really like I'd like it to be quite a kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like multimedia kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So so my partner's a filmmaker. So incorporating film into it and maybe some kind of, other art elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd really love to kind of just have like a massive van and set up for like a year to just be able to go and do that.
Yeah, to be able to really do it. That sounds
exactly,
fantastic.
and make it like beautiful and liaise with, find out who the just these kind of small local musicians who are just doing incredible things in their communities. And so like it's very, really interesting because Jersey, where I am at the moment, the language of Jersey is called Jerrier, and it's rapidly dying. Up until 100 years ago, just over 100 years ago, it was the dominant language of the island. And now there's only a couple of thousand people who speak it. And there are Jerrier folk songs. There's a couple of Jerrier musicians, but not many. And so kind of, recording something with them would be really cool.
Yeah.
It's almost back into the time when people were panicking about the fact that English folk songs were disappearing and decided to try and record it. I mean, it's, really genuine stuff. But actually making it part of a creative process where it sounds to me if you're suggesting having the old stuff, the real stuff, and then making something creative with it. Sounds amazing.
Exactly that. Yeah. So I think, if money was no object,
that would be a great
it would be amazing. But I'm going to try and do it anyway, but I just will have to do it on a budget. Yeah, so no one steal that idea, please.
No, it's all right. Nobody watches this show. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Or failing that, I would just like a nice Steinway grand piano.
Oh, no, you can go bigger than that. Definitely. You certainly need you need a motorised
Steinway grand is not cheap.
Yeah, but hang on, we had money no object, not, no object. So I think you want a Steinway built into a I don't know, a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce or something. Let's go big,
Sure.
so that you can drive on
quite a
stage
big
and
Ferrari.
well, yeah, I know.
The Ferrari lorry. You heard it here first.
A huge articulated Ferrari lorry.
Excellent. Yeah.
Perfect.
You see, reality, no object. That's what we like.
Absolutely. Excellent. We might have got to the end of this interview, I think.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, Kirsty, for talking
thank
to us.
you. It's been so fun talking to you.
It's been great.
Now whistling winds and slaughtering guns bring autumn's pleasant weather. The moorcock springs on whirring wings among the blooming heather. Now waving grainward o'er the plain delights the weary farmer. The moon shines bright as I rove at night to muse upon my charmer. The partridge loves the fruitful fells, the plover loves the mountains, the woodcock haunts the lonely dells, the soaring herd the fountains. Through lofty grove the cushat rows, the path of man to shun it. The hazel bush sure hangs the thrush, the spreading thorn, the linnet. Thus every kind their pleasures find, the savage and the tender. Some social join and leagues combine, some solitary wander. Vaunt away the cruel sway, tyrannic man's dominion. The sportsman's joy, the murdering cry, the fluttering, gory pinion. The scattered nests, so soon forgot, declare the silenced singers. The empty skies proclaim their loss, or grasped with greed's cold fingers. See man declare his arrogance and scatter all before him. He brings bold nature to its knees and claims the ashes for him.
So it does occur to me, actually, that the whole artists going up in flames thing would be solved by the gigs in space idea, because there's no oxygen. It's brilliant.
think we have actually hit on a flawless model.
Yeah.
Social distancing, no issues. Fire, no issues.
Transmission of virus through no air,
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
issues. Cider sorted via Amazon.
Yeah.
Christmas pudding. Perfect.
Well, if you say so, yes. So it's all excellent. Yeah.
Yes.
Join us next week for, dare I say it, the last episode of this series.
Apart from the possible Christmas special.
Yeah, well, we'll worry about that. Next time we have the wonderful Mr. Luke Concannon. It's going to be a rip-roaring interview, I can tell you. So join us next week for that. And before that, we do, of course, have our Midnight Cider.
Oh, yes.
Yes, join us Sunday night, Monday morning. Relax and chill.
And now, Jeremy.
I am here to warn you about an unscrupulous political conspiracy to bring me, Jeremy Bird, down. Yes. Because I incautiously revealed my plan to be Prime Minister to my millions of fans on the Cider House Rebellion folk show. The government has bioengineered a bird flu virus to eliminate me. Cunningly, they are telling chickens that they will be safe outside until the 14th of December. They hope I will play outside and foolishly die of bird flu, and they are willing to risk millions of other chickens to get me. Yes! But I know that viruses don't understand dates, and I have foiled their plan. I am already inside. I have already pooed on the kitchen floor. And next, I am going to fly up and poo on the cooker. Yes, yes.